Welcome back to the channel, and buckle up, because this one changes the whole conversation in Cleveland. The Browns' new offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees, just sat down with the media, and he didn't deliver vanilla coach speak. He dropped a truth bomb that confirms what we've suspected for months about Shedeur Sanders. If you care about how this season turns, listen up, quick pit stop. If you're into straight, no-spin breakdowns like this, hit subscribe now so you don't miss the follow-ups we've got queued on this story. Picture the scene. Rees walks into the room fresh off a fast rise from TE's coach to OC. This is a 30-something who cut his teeth at Notre Dame and Alabama, programs where offensive excellence is the baseline and 30-plus points is a boring Saturday. He traded Saban's precision machine and South Bend's pro-style efficiency for a Browns unit that this year has looked allergic to rhythm culture shock. You think? So reporters go straight to the question every fan is asking. What's really going on with Shedeur Sanders? Why has a gifted rookie who looks the part, acts the part, and by all accounts spins it at practice, not seeing a real snap with the ones? Rees could have hidden behind development timelines and the process. Instead, he admitted they've had to be creative to get Shedeur work because there just aren't enough practice reps to go around. Read that again. The OC acknowledged they're manufacturing extra opportunities outside the normal structure to keep Sanders progressing. That's not normal, and Rees basically said as much, calling it a unique situation that doesn't happen often in the NFL translation. The Browns have placed themselves in a self-inflicted bind. One rookie starting and struggling, another rookie with more upside doing homework after class instead of getting true first-team lab time. Let's unpack what creative reps means. Per multiple practice watchers, the Browns have been setting up post-practice periods specifically so Shedeur can throw extra installs, timing segments, pocket movement, red zone ladders with coaches and a mix of depth receivers. Valuable? Yes. Equal to working with the starting OL and the top 3 WRs in full speed periods. Not even close. Quarterback chemistry is built at live practice speed with the actual dudes you'll play with. Supplemental work is a band-aid. Quarterbacks coach Billy Musgrave tried to clarify earlier in the year. All backups, Deion Gabriel, Sanders, Bailey Zapp, run scout team snaps. That's where you mimic the opponent's offense to train your defense. It matters for timing and ball handling, but it is not the same as running your own playbook with your own timing rules, protections, and progressions. Scout team is acting, first team is being. And for all the noise, Shedeur himself has handled this like a vet. Back at minicamp, he talked about perspective, choosing to be proactive, staying polished, being ready because no one cares how many reps you got when you step on the field. That's the mentality you want in your locker room. That's the guy you invest in. Here's where the logic breaks down. The staff says Deion Gabriel, as a young starter, needs the lion's share of reps. On paper, fair. In reality, Gabriel's game tape has been rough. Sub 60% completion stretches, low red zone efficiency, and drives that die on second down. The offense as a whole has been stuck in single-gear football. Quick outs, late throws, forced checkdowns, protection calls that don't match the threat picture. It's not just rookie lumps, it's structural stagnation. So when Rees confirms they're already bending practice to get Shedeur additional development, the obvious question is, why not reallocate a meaningful slice of first-team throws, 10, 12, 15 a day, to the more dynamic prospect and see if you can jumpstart timing with the actual starters? At minimum, you hedge. At best, you find a spark. Rees went long on relationships too, how he came to Cleveland to work with Kevin Stefanski and how much he values Stefanski's support. Totally understandable loyalty. But it does hint at the real tension line. If the head coach has planted his flag with Gabriel, a first-year OC isn't likely to stage a public mutiny and demand a depth chart reset. Hierarchy matters. Careers are long. People remember who pushed and when. Still, the tape doesn't lie. Multiple reporters with practice access have said Shedeur looks sharp when he throws decisive back foot, consistent strike point, layered touch on intermediate benders, and the kind of pocket steadiness you can't fake. He's not sprint-out dependent. He's not staring down his first read, and he doesn't flinch when a free runner flashes late. If that's what he looks like midweek, the argument for some first-team dosage is obvious. Why hasn't it happened? Pride and sunk cost are powerful. Gabriel cost a third-round pick. Sanders slid to the 5th. Admitting the 5th rounder might be the better fit right now invites tough questions about evaluation and draft stacking. So the machine doubles down on the earlier bet and calls the delay development. Meanwhile, the offensive ecosystem is cracking everywhere you look. Injuries shuffling the line combinations, receivers who win in isolation but disappear when the picture gets muddy, a run game that flashes and then vanishes, and a call sheet fighting to find sequencing that builds stress on the defense instead of stress on its own protection rules. You can dress it up with motion and stacks, but if the quarterback doesn't process the who's hot, where's help answers in 2.0 seconds, you're punting. That's why Rees's Ferrari metaphor, college blue bloods versus shopping cart with a busted wheel, Cleveland this year landed with a thud. He didn't say it that bluntly, but we all heard it. At Bama and Notre Dame, it's smooth. Here, every snap is an adventure, which begs the next question. If you know your offense is ragged, isn't that the best time to lean into the higher ceiling? When a system hums, you protect it. When it sputters, you experiment responsibly. This season's math is unforgiving. Even if you can squint and imagine a late run, the margins are microscopic. Every additional Deion start without a breakthrough is also an opportunity cost. Live bullets Shedeur doesn't see, protections he doesn't feel, blitz tells he doesn't catalog. You cannot replicate live processing speed in a 30-minute after-practice block. You just can't. Quick reminder, if you want game day breakdowns on how the Browns are actually adjusting protections and root families around whichever quarterback is in, hit that like button so this video gets to more Cleveland fans and tap subscribe. We've got film room segments coming that you'll want queued before Sunday. Now, to be fair, there's a reasonable cautionary voice here. Bernie Kosar's point that the league can ruin young QBs if you throw them in without support, no one's dismissing that. But that caution usually applies when a stable vet is already giving you competent play while the rookie onboards slowly. That's not the current reality. If the baseline is already struggle, the calculus flips. You weigh struggle with upside versus struggle without upside. You don't protect a poor status quo at the expense of testing the higher variance option. There's also the locker room reality. The defense has been balling, then walking back on the field again and again with gas in the tank, but no points on the board. When that happens, leaders start speaking in coded plain English. You'll hear phrases like complementary football and situational execution. That's defense speak for we need more from the offense. The longer it drags, the harder it is to keep belief glued together. Nothing flips belief faster than a spark everyone can feel. A QB switch, when done with a plan and sold correctly, can be that spark. Which brings us back to Rees's presser and what he did say that's actionable. He talked about rhythm, about simplifying the picture for the quarterback, about sequencing early plays to settle the offense into completions. Those are real levers. Early perimeter RPOs, glance and now screens paired with duo, quick play action to tether linebackers, a couple of design keepers to change the launch point, a shot on the call sheet in the first 12 to keep safeties honest. Those tweaks help any quarterback, Deion or Shedeur. But if you believe Shedeur's strengths are quick accuracy, intermediate layering, and calm under pressure, then those same levers might unlock him faster. Let's not ignore the human side. Shedeur's done everything right off the field: school visits, community events, real face-to-face connection with fans who are starving for a reason to believe. He has not thrown public shade at teammates or coaches. He has not posture tweeted. He's put in an adult season without the carrot. That matters. It makes the decision to test him easier to sell to a veteran locker room. You can look Miles, Joel, and the captains in the eye and say, we've earned the right to try the higher ceiling with a guy who earned it the right way. What would a rational pivot look like? Not a soap opera benching. A framing exercise. You present it as a developmental elevation with competitive urgency, and you script it accordingly. Reallocate a defined chunk of first-team reps in practice, say 35 to 40% to Shedeur for 2 weeks, not scraps, real installs with the ones. Build a first 15 that leans into quick game rhythm, a couple of boundary shots off condensed splits, and 2 pocket movement throws early so the line doesn't have to hold a perfect cup every rep. Pair a simplified protection menu, half slides, quick 6-man answers with crystal clear, hot rules so you buy him outlets. Tell the room the evaluation window up front, 2 games, then reassess. Honesty builds credibility. That's not panic, that's controlled iteration. And if Deion wins the job back by outplaying him in practice and in relief stints, great. You still captured development value and sent the right message. Performance decides, not draft slot. Rees also hinted the bye gave him perspective. Time to step back and find a spark. If that spark is just call it better, then the offense may breathe for a series or two. If that spark is change what the defense has to defend, you might feel a gear catch. Defensive coordinators study tendencies, change the quarterback and the math changes, launch points, timing, what you can threaten in the middle of the field. Even if it's messy, it's different, and sometimes different is enough to steal a Sunday. Two more layers matter here. First, optics with the fan base. Browns fans are seasoned realists. They'll accept a pivot if you explain it like grown-ups. We are testing upside while building 2025 reps without conceding 2024 effort. Second, the building's long game. If Shedeur is the guy, the earlier you prove it, the earlier you tailor acquisition, coaching hires, and scheme around him. If he's not, clarity now is gold for your draft board. None of this means Deion is a lost cause or that the staff has been acting in bad faith. It means circumstances change, evidence stacked up, and loyal people can still make bolder choices. Rees's comments about creative reps, about rhythm, about needing a spark open the door. Walking through it is a leadership test. One last note on Shedeur himself. The demeanor matters. He carries calm. He doesn't get small under heat. He throws on time when the pocket is imperfect. He's not a hope ball merchant who lives on off-script prayer shots. That profile tends to travel from practice to Sunday better than the internet gives credit for, if you give it real reps with real teammates. So where do the Browns go from here? 3 paths. Stay the course, ride Deion, try to polish the call sheet, hope the line stabilizes, pray for incremental gains. Lowest volatility, lowest ceiling. Controlled elevation, declare a 2-game window, script for Shedeur's strengths, reallocate practice reps, evaluate honestly. Medium volatility, real discovery. Hybrid, game plan packages for Shedeur, 2 series per half, specific red zone and 2-minute sets, while keeping Deion as QB1. Lowest upfront shock risks, muddying rhythm for both. Given what Rees just admitted and what the tape keeps screaming, the second path feels like the adult choice, not as a headline, as a plan. If you're riding with that logic, tap subscribe so you don't miss the next drop. We'll break down exactly how the Browns could structure those 2 weeks of practice, plus the first 15 script we'd roll out to maximize early completions and keep the pass rush off balance, and drop your take below. Would you flip the reps now, pilot a package, or stay the course another month? Cleveland, you've seen every version of this movie. The rare twist is when the team chooses curiosity over comfort, clarity over pride. Tommy Rees just cracked the door and told the truth. Shedeur needs real work, and the status quo isn't normal. The question is whether the Browns will finally do the simple, hard thing, change on time instead of too late. If you made it this far, hit like so more fans see it, subscribe for the follow-up film study, and ring the bell. We're on this story the second the practice reps change. See you in the next one.